G'day guys, welcome back to another video with Eno from Fantasy Take TV. Today I'll be going through some sort of primos, tinkering with the structures, discuss some rookies at the end, and sort of see where the landscape is at the moment after the sort of the first week of the pracky games, if so you will, the ones on KO. It's good to see some footy back, if you caught any of it, but they were pretty hard to watch at times. Just, they were unofficial, of course. So, we were lucky to, get some vision of them anyway. Of course, they could have easily been, not behind closed doors, but, not visible to us. So, it was good of them to do that. A few teams or games played 6 quarters just to give some guys a run. And we did get some SuperCoach scores out of them as well, which was good. So, yeah, you might have seen a few of them on Twitter. If you're looking for more of those, pretty much every game that's out has been posted in our Discord as well. So head over there, and it's in the preseason channel. If you didn't catch any of those, but the real obviously official AAMI Community Series starts in a couple of days, and we'll get more of an indication. With teams really tightening up, wanting to play their best 22 and play their proper structure with only 2 weeks or just over 2 weeks until round 1 now. So, exciting times. It's come around pretty quick, I reckon. It's the 1st of March. I looked down today and I'm thinking, what the hell? Where's the time gone this year? It wasn't New Year's too long ago, and footy's almost back. So, exciting times. I'm going to quickly run through just a couple of teams I took some screenshots of that I was tinkering with and where we should expect or... Look, obviously none of this is set in stone. We still need to see some games this weekend, and it's just good to be aware or be prepared, for anything that might hit us. Not, might not be last minute, but if you sort of think ahead or just do some forward thinking, you can sort of know where you sit. If X happens, this needs to happen, and where you need to drop cash or fill up a line, etc. So. This is a 13 premium team. It is very hard to keep a 13 premium team at the moment, with where the rookies are and how expensive the mids are and all that sort of stuff. So it's very, very light in defence with Short at D1, Whitfield D2, and George Hewitt at D3, who I think is a viable option, but something I'll probably speak on next week. After this weekend set of games, I'll delve into some players that I think are viable picks. But yeah, that's got 3 premium defenders and then the rookies on field. So Hinge, Sin and McCartan, who you have to pay up for. And then DeConning and Dean on the bench, which look to be getting a game, but aren't going to be great scorers for us, you wouldn't imagine. So this obviously keeps 4 mids with McRae, Steele, Took and Neil. And has Jared Berry there in M5, and every team I have here will have him there because right now he's looking like an absolute must-have with his performance on the weekend, and at his price, it is very, very hard to go past. Him being in the midfield is a bit annoying, of course, but obviously that's where he plays and that's where his status is. So that's got that there. Obviously, Horn Francis, Dacos, Stevens looks to be getting a game, performed quite well on the weekend, and they're all fine. Then the mid-bench is really looking quite grim, It looked very good a few weeks ago, and Hobbs probably doesn't look like getting a game. Erasmus, by some reports from Warney over at the guys at Fantasy, said that Erasmus wasn't too happy or had a blue with the coach about not getting picked. So he doesn't look likely. Other guys like Chesser, who was a defender mid, we lost, but Driscoll did play all right on the weekend. Actually, I think had about 80-odd SuperCoach points. Was against West Coast, who didn't really give much and probably won't be given much this season. But, probably did enough to play himself, into the coach's thoughts. But they didn't have a few players, Fife, Mundy, Darcy Tucker, guys like that obviously walk straight into the team. So it's hard to get a read. Mead's another one where Power Pepper looks to be okay for... may not play this week, but round 1, and he's a guy ahead of him, of course. But some believe Mead may still get a game with Power Pepper in the team. So, and Connor McDonald there, who I think is pretty certain on getting a game. Again, no, it's not confirmed, but he's been playing very well and had a very good preseason. Got Darcy Grundy in the rucks, of course. Not something I'm willing to play around with. R2, I just, I'm I'm open to it if the option or a guy looks good at a cheaper price. Like, we had Nank years ago and Sandy all those years ago. But the guys like Witts, who's still racing to be fit for round one, and Bruce, who still looks to be behind Matty Flynn, which could change this week. But at this stage, it's looking like that. Those guys don't fill me with confidence. I just don't think they're picks. And then interestingly, this has got the 4 forward primo still. So it's got Dunkley as an absolute lock, and then 3 of the 450k guys. Butters is pretty much a lock as well. Bailey and Heaney up for more debate. Heaney just recently announced that Patley's out for 6 weeks, or 4 to 6, and does that mean he plays more forward time? Who knows? They're obviously pushing for him in the midfield. They are missing Mills, who's sort of indefinite with that Achilles, so not sure where he's at. Zach Bailey performed great on the weekend, and he's a guy that I'm really, really keen on picking and want to pick. It's just, things have to fall into place and have to see enough mid-time from him. And then Cogs and Rochelle to round it out. So Rochelle's a guy I think you must have with all the lack of forward rookies. He's a guy I probably want at F6. And Cogs as well. Like, I have seen people with Kerno. He doesn't fill me with great confidence with his body. Ralph Smith, I'm not sure he gets a game. Possibly, we'll have to see with him and Rioli playing this weekend. But yeah, this is sort of the desperate way to keep or get a 13 premium team. It requires 3 of those sort of breakout forward options. It requires obviously Neil, and it really requires Hewitt and Short instead of like your Lloyds or your Crisps, who are sort of up there in price, or Stewarts. And then does leave you quite open in defence with 3 rookies on field. So while it could be plausible given all those rookies get a game, it does leave you with no Jake Lloyd, probably is the main thing, and just trying to pick 3 breakout forwards, not including Dunk. So 3 breakout forwards when, and another point here I should make is, Cogs could be a keeper, could average 90 plus, 95, even push 100 if he's in his best form and be a keeper for us. So that leaves you with 1 forward spot to fill, and that's not particularly a great strategy. Could work, it depends obviously with the DPPs and all that stuff, but there's still Duncan you don't have, who is coming into the season with an injury. Treloar you don't have, who could be a good option. I know not a lot of us are confident in his body, but he could be one. Dusty's not there, so picking 4 forwards off the bat might not be the strategy. But if I wasn't to pick one, I don't really see anyone else in the mid-price range or rookies that I would want to field. So I think Coleman would be the only one, as we'll see soon, that would make sense. So that's the 13 premium team. Obviously, you can toy around with a few primos here and there, but say we get a cheaper rookie, we could, you could get Lloyd back or something. So that's the 13 premium team. How it sort of looks, but it's still, rookies on the bench. McGuinness, not even certain. Durden should play, as I said, McDonald, but even these mid rookies, not certain either. So it's looking a bit dicey this stage, but yeah, hopefully it clears up this weekend. Now, this is a 12 premium team, still keeping the 4 mids, so it still is quite light in defence with the rookies having 3 on field, but as you can see, I've paid up for Lloyd. I've got Sicily over Hewitt because I know quite a lot of people like him, as he's in over 30% of sides. So that looks a bit stronger. Still got McRae, Steele, got Tukit, M4 and Neil, Berry. All the same sort of thing there. McDonald, Stevens. Gets your Ward on the bench. You can use a bit of that cash to get Josh Ward on the midfield bench. And Brody Kemp as well in defence. So he's like another guy that might play in with sort of the extra cash that you'll see in a second. That's sort of what it can get you. Darcy Grundy still, Dunkley, Heady, Butters, but then instead of Zach Bailey, you've got Coleman there at a 4. So that's sort of what you can do with the 200k from Bailey down to Coleman. If Coleman, we haven't seen him this, yet. If he looks good, got the role this week, and everywhere else, you're not sort of confident and rookies don't show up. That's something you can do. But again, it does still leave you with those 3 defender rookies on field, and you can't be doing that in the forward line. I just don't think there's any guys there to be having on field besides Rochelle at this stage. I guess McCartan counts as one with that forward status, but that's basically what you can do. If you drop to a 12 premium, keep the 4 mid still, and just drop one of those forwards down to Coleman or I know people might still roll with a Kerner or Ralph Smith sort of type. So, and of course Rayner, who to me is not a pick, but one that's very popular and over 30% of sides too. So that's the 12 premium team, and I think obviously at this stage 12 looks a lot safer. One way to make it look even safer as we head across to the SuperCoach website, so I can show you, is dropping the fourth mid. Now, as Toot goes out of this team, it brings in a defender. So that's where the sort of the three rookies on field that I was talking about is a bit risky and probably a bit optimistic. Gives you that fourth defender. So we got Lloyd, Chris, Short, and Whitfield. Three of those guys are really safe. Then you got Whitfield. I feel very confident with that back line. McRae, Steele, still. Neil moves to M3. Berry, M4. Horn, Francis, Dacos, Warden, and Stevens. Still leaves you with a couple of those mid-bench rookies that, you'd think an Eagles guy would pop up with all their injuries. I think there's True, there's a couple of other guys. Obviously, hopefully we get some basement ones. Greg Clark going down, a week or so ago, hurt a bit, but that's still a bit risky. But yeah, Darcy Grundy still, and then that same forward line with Dunks, Heaney, Butters, Coleman, Cogs, and Rochelle. And of course the Heaney, but Heaney could be DeGoey or anyone else you prefer. But so that drops back to three mids, and I know I've seen a lot of people. I think George posted a video a couple of weeks ago showing what a three mid team looks like. But it is just good to be prepared on what it will look like, and if the rookies don't come, this is how we do it. I didn't mention there's McCartan on the bench too, down in the forward line. So this team does have 50k in the bank as well. For any rookie corrections and whatnot. So one thing I will say at the end of this, I'm just going to go through some rookies sort of as a whole. But say we needed this team and it was worst case scenario. I have said this in the Discord, but yeah, say we didn't get, all the rookies and even a couple of mid prices or whatever, we had to go to a three mid team or just to fill out the defense and forward. If you lock in a Clary, a Bont, or even a Petraka on the Wednesday, and we don't get the full teams we get the full teams on a Thursday for Friday and Saturday, and even then we don't get Sunday's full teams until Friday night. If you lock in that third mid, you can't drop you obviously can't drop McRae because he's locked, but you can't drop Steele and you can't drop Neil. So what I'm trying to say is they're the two that are, left in your team. And if you had to drop one of them, to get, spread the wealth, you really wouldn't want to be doing that. You don't want to be dropping Jack Steele. If you've had a look at the Saints fixture, I encourage you to, because that man's going to go pretty nuts. And Lockie Neal with the value, and both these guys are wholly owned. So if you lock in a Clary or a Bond early on the Wednesday, and then we find out we might have to drop a mid, you won't be able to do it. Or you might have to do it somewhere else, or drop a ruck or something like that, which is not something I want to do. So that's just one thing about picking Clary or Bont that I don't like. But obviously it's doomsday. It's been pretty pessimistic as I said before, and hopefully with the games this week we get some good rookie performances and guys at a cheaper price that can help us out. So I will quickly go to that over to the players, and if I just quickly move that down a bit, down to there, and I'm just going to filter out sort of all the expensive players because it's not really where we're looking. And at about 250 and under, we've got obviously Dacos, obviously Horn Francis, not worth talking about. Elijah Hollins, a guy that I didn't have in these teams and haven't spoken about yet, but he played twos on the weekend and he doesn't really look to be getting a go for round one anyway. A guy that you would think plays during the year, but some said had a groin injury, but if he played twos and didn't play ones, that to me says he's a little bit on the outer at this stage. Rochelle should be locked in your team. Spoken about O'Driscoll already. Spoken about Dean. Will Kelly, not a guy I just think gets a game. Pies fans could tell me otherwise, but with how they're setting up, I don't think, he's in the frame, but not one that looks to be. Josh Sin, I think, should. Obviously, that doesn't mean he will. He played all right on the weekend. He got a bit of the ball, but did butcher it at times. But does break that line. He has a bit of speed and dash. Just needs to clean up his disposal. But that's young player things that come with time. So it's all down to if Kenny gives him a go. Charlie Parker's still in a lot of teams. He didn't play in the ones. He doesn't look like playing. De Koning, one that we think will play, just sort of out of necessity at Geelong, and he was on one at half time, I think, in the practice bench. So, we might be forced to pick him, but not one that you would ever want to go near your field. Comben could be R3. I think a lot of North fans think he should be back in the team. Skinner doesn't look like playing. He's about the fourth or fifth key tool at Port and needs an injury or two to get in. Bruce is behind Flynn still at this stage. That could change. Will Gould, it's just Will Gould. He did play on the weekend, but don't believe he will play. Cheetahs again, I think he played twos. McGuinness did play a bit of time, but is no guarantee. Hopefully, we really need some forward rookies. Kerno obviously plays if he's fit. Ward, I just think plays. Hasn't got has glowing reports, but from people that or punters that watched the game didn't think he performed too greatly. But first game for the kid, he might improve. Sam Hayes, I think, isn't an option anymore, or an outside one if they play two rucks, but Lysette should be fit. Clark, of course, is injured. Brody Euland, I just don't think plays. Same with Butler. Will Brodie, great performance on the weekend, but again, against a depleted West Coast and without Fife and Mundy. Does he play? Who knows? Madonna's not going to be playing. Dill Stevens should play. Had a pretty decent performance, I think, with 80 or 90 fantasy points, which shows you got a fair bit of the ball. Hobbs is on the outer. I think JD's saying he's, in that 23 to 25 range. There's a lot of mids to go past there. Kiwi's a loophole. Wangani Malira doesn't look to be ready yet. McDonald hopefully plays Mead as well, and McCartan there I've got. And other than that, guys, it's looking pretty slim. Got Kemp there as well, and we lost Chester there to an injury. There are a few that are obviously an outside chance. I think Gibcus and Stevens, if their coaches pick him. Obviously, you spoke about Erasmus not getting picked. Matty Roberts, I think, had a decent performance. Wilmot is suspended. So, look, honestly, it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great at all. Looking forward to some footy this weekend. Hopefully, a few of these guys put their hand up and help us out to fill out our teams and really just want some fieldable guys that we can put at, D5, D6 and maybe even an F6 to help us out and keep what I imagine all of us want is 4 or 5 mids. So that's been the video, guys. Thanks for watching. And let's enjoy some footy this weekend. We'll see you with some videos after that and, of course, a podcast with the fellas as well. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Cheers. Got the mojo deals, we been tripping like the 80s. Pulling out the coupe at the light.